Welcome back to another video. We're going to do some driveway sealing today. If you haven't seen my playlist, I have a lot of great videos showing you different things you have to do to prep a driveway. This one's good to go. This was recently paved probably about 3 or 4 months ago. We're going to seal it, get ready for winter. Not a whole lot of prep that needs done. I'm just going to sweep right over here, like around the edges, back here, make sure there's not grass growing up over, which you can see like right back here, there's some grass coming up on there. And basically just get any little brush, anything that's going to cause this not to stick. Now, if you're looking behind me, I have all the buckets upside down. The reason I do this, I let those sit for 24 hours like that. When they're sitting in the store, all the sediment, not so much the sediment, but the thick part of it settles to the bottom. By doing this, it'll get to the top. So when you start to mix it, it's going to be that much easier. It's going to be that much easier to have a nice even mix the whole way out through. Again, we're going to use a squeegee, paintbrush around the edges, just like right there. We're going to do paintbrush around the edges. Simple as that. Probably end up doing like a time lapse here because you've seen me do sealer videos before. If you have any questions, drop them below. Let's get to it. Okay, I already just blew off the driveway. I figure you don't probably need to see that. Flip this over, pull that off. Now I just got an old piece of lumber. I'm just gonna mix this up for about probably 5 minutes. Don't throw the lid away, because what we'll do, we'll take a paintbrush, get all that, and do the edges. The reason I'm using this for the edges, I just don't want a bunch of tar getting on the wood. Since we had this flipped over, see how there's a lot of thicker stuff at the top, we actually won't have to mix this too much. So we're pretty good. Already pretty good right there. Let me get this a little closer so you can see. You just want to make sure you have a good mixing of this so it's not thick on the bottom or anything like that. Just get all different directions, back and forth. Just go around the sides too, like this, where everything's dragged off the side. And you'll be able to tell, like, as you push down, if it's properly mixed. So we're good to go right there. I'm going to go ahead and do the side pieces right here. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is just use what's left on the lid, which isn't much. Actually, barely anything at all. So we'll just get straight from the bucket. I'm using a 4-inch brush, just a cheapie, like a cheapo brush. I'm just doing this so this doesn't go like all over the wood too bad. I still want to go up the side slightly. That way it seals it. Because as soon as water can get into, say, cracks, I go back farther so you can see. As soon as water gets in the cracks, it'll start to separate and you'll have plants growing and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm only coming out a few inches. And again, I don't want to run a squeegee against this because it might splatter, go onto the walkway. Just go back and forth because that'll work itself down into the stone. Back over, good to go. I'm gonna work on that. You can see the idea of it. You're just getting around the edge, nothing complicated. as soon as I'm done with all this, then we're going to start the actual process of seal coating. That I'm going to actually speed up. So again, I'm going to do my edges, and I'm only going to work as much as I can do with a bucket roughly, which might be 10 feet. So I'm going to come down this way, down the side only part way, then start my bucket, because you don't want this to dry before you apply the rest of your sealer. You want to still be somewhat wet. So let's keep going. I'll finish this off. And like I said, that mixed really easy since I had upside down. Didn't have to mix much at all, maybe like a minute if that. But you'll feel it. If you had a bucket sitting at the store for a while, it may have all settled and kind of clumped up the bottom. It just takes a while to break that up and get an even consistency. So let's get back to it. Okay, I have all around the edges done. This way, part way down. Time to start seal coating, and then that way you can see that process there. I think that'll be good. And probably gonna speed this up because you've seen this before in my other videos, but just wanted to show you how easy this is. You can do this at home. One big thing nobody really talks about: wear gloves, wear old clothes. I have socks that come up pretty high. This does splatter. You're going to get tar on you in your shoes. So definitely wear some old clothing. And again, I do have playlists for all these. First thing I do is I just put out a little strip like that. Take my squeegee. I'm just using like an 18-inch squeegee. They make larger ones, but this is nice and manageable for me. I'm just going to squeegee it out, nice thin coat. Let's get to it. Okay, you can see how quick that was. Did about 10 feet down that way, 10 feet over this way. Now, if you watched in a video, again, check out my other playlist because it explains it more. I'm treating it like a road scraper. You have a 45-degree angle that pulls the material down as you're pulling across. Now, if I need extra material over on, say, this side, I keep it straight. That way, as I pull, it just pulls it without pushing it down. So let's get back to it. Oh yeah, one thing to mention, when you get to the bottom, you're gonna have a lot of extra. Like you can see a lot of extra. Now, before I get too far, I'm gonna hit this edge on the side where it meets the road. That way, again, you have a good, clean seal and no roots are gonna come up and no water is gonna infiltrate under your asphalt. So I'll just take this leftover, go along that edge while it's still wet, and then we'll continue on down the rest of the way. Okay, I'm just going to continue down. Now, when I first opened the bucket, I use the fresh stuff on those sides because they don't get a lot of traffic. I use the bottom of the bucket closest to the road because that will get the most traffic and the most wear. It being a little bit thicker on the bottom, it's going to hold up that much better. Now, you're still putting on thin coats though, so don't get me wrong. It's not like we're putting this on 1/2 inch thick. It's still a pretty light coat. So let's get back to it. Time for some more action. Okay, we are at the halfway point. You see it's getting well. Just remember too, as I'm going across here, if you see a line, just go over it again. It's going to spread out, make it nice and even. You will see a little bit of lines whenever you're all done, but for the most part you won't. And again, I'm really focusing on this edge to make sure that seals nicely. Again, the right prep up front is going to save you a lot of time down the road. So no water is going to penetrate in between these two layers of asphalt that are here where the road meets the driveway here. So I'm going to continue on, and if you have any questions, drop them below. I'm going to go ahead and finish this edge up over here. I'm not going to bore you with that. We're almost done. Probably like 10 more minutes of work. It's all done, so I'll stop it right here for now. Finishing up, and as you can see, I ran out. I only have like another foot to go too, so rule of thumb is always have an extra bucket beyond what you think it's gonna do. I did 5 buckets on this. I should have got 6, but I'll flip this around and show you some of the details. But that's how you asphalt a driveway. Simple as that. And like I said, I sped that up because yeah, it just takes time, so I'm not boring you to death. Let me flip this around and show you what I did. Okay, starting at the top, you can see we've got nice clean lines the whole way down, matching where the road meets the new asphalt. And we went up all around here so water won't leak down through. Like I said, you're not really going to see any lines, and once you drive over this a few times, you won't even notice. You can see just a couple small lines, but I have a sewage cover here, that's why that's dipped up. But going back, you can see back there how the lines are just from squeegeeing it. But it all ends up like this as it soaks in. Now here I didn't really brush, I just filled it in. I wanted to make sure this was going to be a really good seal because all the water is going to go downhill and hit that. One big thing is work smarter, not harder. Start from the highest point and work your way down. It's going to make it that much easier to pull all your driveway sealer down. If you're going to go uphill, you're going to fight it the whole way up. So, you know, just think of that before you start your project. And like I said, we're just about done here. Walk around here real quick. And with paintbrush, you can get close to the sidewalk and like the mini split. Unfortunately, like I said, I only have like another foot to go and it's done. But again, if you stop somewhere, make sure you brush it out so there's not a line. You know, you come around here, I don't see any lines because it'll dry and harden that way. And when you start your last row, if you didn't get enough like me, then you're gonna see that line. Whereas now you won't because it'll go right over it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to asphalt seal your driveway. If you have questions, just drop them below. I'm always on here to, you know, help you out any way I can. See you on the next one. Hey, price of this? Probably about $100 bucks. Can't beat that. And we will talk to you soon. Later.